Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. So, I am so glad that towards the end of this episode, Abby learned the truth. Because I'm going to be honest, in the beginning, it was kind of annoying. Um, After a while, one second. It was getting a little annoying. Sarah thought, Abby thought that, at first she caught Sarah in a lie, thinking that it was Gwen. But then Gwen showed up, and you realize it was Ava. So this whole time, Gwen is sitting there smirking and just, celebrating her little victory. And then, at some point, she's sitting there talking to Ava, about how this whole thing came about. Which, to be honest, I was just kind of over it after a while because while she's sitting there patting herself on the back for a great job, it's like, sweetheart, what are you doing? And next thing you know, she's sitting there begging, begging this woman, Ava, to wear the mask again to fool her. Because, the whole idea is that, Sarah's leaving and, Gwen is so afraid that she's going to mess it up being Sarah. Between that and I guess she somewhat feels guilty about, the whole Maggie thing, and she was feeling upset and sad and blah, 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 blah. You know what? Honestly, to tell you, I don't care. I don't care. I know it's a soap opera, and I know that you kind of have to stretch out your imagination with this whole Sarah mask. Never mind the fact that you have to account for height, body size, stuff like that. But whatever. And she's literally sitting there begging Ava to do it. So Ava had this whole plan, I guess, screwing around with Rafe and Nicole. But after all her begging and begging and begging and begging and begging, she decided to call up Rafe and said that she had to cancel because something came up, don't wait up for her, and yada yada yada. So while that's going on, you got Abby sitting there talking to Chad, and she still feels like there's something off. Even after she saw Gwen not wearing a mask, she still felt something off. At one point she was sitting there thinking that somebody was wearing a Gwen mask, but between what happened with Kristen and Kate and what she thinks is happening with Sarah, the parallels and everything like that. Even Chad was like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, they do seem kind of, similar. But at this point, she's getting all flustered and confused or whatever. Especially when she was like, maybe somebody's having the Gwen mask, and hell, even that's what I thought at one point. So Chad was like, listen, let's just kind of just chill for the night, tuck the kids in, read them a story, and just kind of, get your mind off of it because it's getting a little kind of confusing. Um, Sabby was like, all right, fine. But at the end of the day, she still couldn't get over the fact that something just felt off. So Ava calls Gwen and was like, yeah, I made sure, because she wore the mask. She made sure that she was public enough for people to see her. And she calls her up and she's like, hey, listen, I made sure everyone can see me. You owe me. And at this point, Abby is, because I guess they're by the airfield. So Abby's not there, I guess, was following her somehow. I'm assuming she followed her. That's the only way she tracked her down to the airfield. So she comes out of the bushes and she sees her and then she runs at her. And I'm like, what? Like, something about that scene was just kind of funny. But anyway, she gets on the ground. Next thing you know, she pulls off the mask and she's like, I knew it. And then she turns, and then, a person turns her on the floor. She realizes it's Ava. She's like, Ava. Because Chad did sit there and say, maybe there's another player. Because she was sitting there talking about Gwen and Kristen, like what's going on. And that's when Chad was like, maybe there's another player involved. And, I saw the preview, so at this point, that she gets knocked over the head with a shovel because why not? Gwen is just so desperate to sit there and keep this man. Hell, I felt like she was desperate to sit there and keep Jake at this point. Um, when I first started watching her a little bit, she seemed like she was really hella desperate to sit there and keep Jake. This is after Jake, and I remember this scene. Jake shoved her in the closet when Gabby walked in. He shoved you in the closet, and you still want to hold on to him. Ugh. And Aly comes over, and Chanel tells Aly that Paulina knows. And at this point, she's freaking out. She's like, "Oh my goodness, she's gonna say something. I don't deserve him. I don't deserve a nice girly trip." And I'm like, "No, you don't." And Chanel was like, "No, don't say it." I was like, "No, no, 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 no. No, let's just be open and honest about that. You don't deserve him. Hell, here's the thing. After everything you put this man through, after everything you put this man through, and he was gracious enough not only to forgive you, but to actually date you and have treated you with honor, with respect, with kindness, and you pay him back by kissing Chanel multiple times and then having sex with her. So when she said, "I don't deserve him," you're damn right you don't deserve him. That, honestly, tell you the truth, I think that might have been the smartest thing I think I've ever heard that character say, ever. And, wow. So at this point, they both, I mean, Aly's like, it's not going to happen again. And Chanel's like, yeah, you're right, it's not going to happen again. Like, she wants it to happen again because, well, let's be honest, she is who she is. And Aly is, well, I'm trying not to be a dick. I really am. I really am trying not to be a dick, but she doesn't deserve a guy like him. She doesn't. She deserves somebody like Chanel, actually. Yeah, yeah, she deserves somebody like Chanel. And this is something that I've said about EJ and Sammy, um, Carly and Sunny, is that in a lot of ways they're somewhat kind of terrible people. Not so much Sunny and Carly, but they have tendencies that could be really terrible. Carly and her selfishness. Sunny, well, I don't even want to get started on him. But my point is that sometimes when you see people that are so bad and they're together, you hope that they stay together. Because if they're together, then they're not screwing up somebody else's lives. And that's how I feel about Chanel and Aly. They're both kind of terrible people that really don't deserve good men or women in their lives because they don't know how to treat them. So it's better for them to be together than for them to be screwing over somebody else. And Aly goes to see Trip at the end and gives him some cookies and some food and stuff like that and hugs him and I'm just like, you lying POS. Like, ugh. Now, Paulina was sitting there feeling hella guilty when she was being treated by Trip, and at one point she was sitting there saying that she wanted to request another doctor. But then she realized how weird it was sounding, so she was like, "No, you can still treat me." I'm like, at this point, Paulina, you walked in there acting hella weird, um, and you still act weird after that. So yeah, that was a thing. Now Gabby and Johnny are sitting there. Well, Johnny's sitting there hitting on Gabby. And then Jake comes in. And Jake is like, all right, so what's going on? After they have some drinks or whatever, they start to get down to business. Now, Jake's idea is to get a heavy hitter. He wants to sit there and get Victor in there. Get Victor, go out there, Chad and EJ, push them out. And then push out Victor. And I'm like, wow. That's the thing. I want to sit there and say that's hella dickish, and I feel like it is. but I don't know Victor's history, and I'm pretty sure Victor has done some really terrible things, as far as letting Kristen believe that her baby's dead, and probably a ton of other stuff that I can't even begin to like comprehend. Um, there's a long history on the show, and I feel like the type of stuff I feel like the type of bad things that he's done over the years is like the same type of bad stuff that Asa Buchanan used to do over the years and wanted to live. When I came in there, he was doing one of his latest bad deeds or whatever, but I'm like, you know, I'm just sitting there thinking, well, how much other things has this guy done that was terrible? So, in a way, I'm like, it's his golden years. It's his last, his last ride on this earth, pretty much. And you're bringing him in there to do your dirty work, and then to kick him to the curb. Um, After you sat there and you talked to Maggie, who, to be honest, I wasn't to say she's a saint, but she seems like a really nice person. Just to lie to her face and be like, yeah, no, 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 we want to give Victor this real good chance and everything like that, and then you're gonna screw over him. You practically looked her in the eyes and you are planning on stabbing her husband in the back. Like, I feel like I was not there thinking because me and so Sanctuary are going to be sitting there doing this collab or whatever about top couples, and part of me was like when I was sitting there looking at the list of people, and I was like, Jake and Gabby, I can't even put them on that list because they honestly tell you the truth. In a lot of ways, they just bring out the worst in each other, and they co-sign each other's BS. Always plotting and scheming together. It's just like, damn. I mean, you found somebody that's you're equal as far as plotting and scheming and doing all sorts of bad things or whatever. But I'm like, I feel like at some point that's going to start to get old, you know? And they're going to kind of realize that they just bring up the worst in each other. So, yeah, they're sitting there talking to Johnny, and, that's the plan. And Johnny's like, you know what, I don't know about that plan. That plan seems a little kind of risky. But it would take somebody very special to convince me. Walks off, and Jake is just pissed. Okay, he's like, "Yo, I don't like this idea of, dangling yourself around him. Like, I'm not a fan of that." Then he finds out that Johnny kissed her, and he's even more pissed off. But Gabby, I guess, calms his wounds or whatever, and kisses him. So that's the thing. Now, Nicole, well, Rafe is not there talking to Trash or Melinda. I can never pronounce her name right, her last name right. Talking to Melinda on the phone, Nicole comes in, and Rafe is like, the more I think about it, the more this makes sense about the whole Ava trying to set him up. They go over different theories and stuff like that. Um, Now they're waiting for Ava to come. Nicole is like, yo, this woman practically did not take no for an answer. So what the hell is she? They brought wine and everything like that, and drinking wine, and they're talking, and they're just going over theories or whatever. Um, with the biggest one being, Ava Smith is setting them up, playing a game or whatever, and at one point, it gets towards the end. See, this is exactly why, if anyone was feeling bad for Rafe and Nicole, Rafe and Nicole, especially Rafe, and Nicole too. Anyone's feeling bad for both of them. Watching Rafe kiss Nicole was like, you know what? I really do hope that Ava gets her revenge on you. I hope that she gets her revenge and she enjoys every single ounce of that revenge possible. Because you are a scumbag. I mean, I don't really know his history too much, but from what I understand, this isn't the first time that he stepped out on a woman that he claimed to love or have feelings for, and, this, that, and the third, when he did it with a hoe. Last time I checked, I could have swore it was Sammy. So this guy has a track record of being a scumbag. Um, so yeah, in a lot of ways, I'm just like, bro, I can't wait till whatever she decides to do on you happens, because it couldn't happen. It couldn't happen to two greater people than Rafe and Nicole. Um, Also, Chad was not there talking to Johnny, but other than that, it didn't really sit there and talk about much. Um, I think that's actually gonna do it. I didn't think this episode was bad. I felt like some of it was very rinse and repeat. Aly still isn't sit there telling the truth. Oh, and Chanel wants to sit there and go after Johnny because Johnny was kissing Gabby. So now she wants to go after her money. Which is like kind of hilarious because she's meant to talk about waking up at the crack of dawn and blah 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 blah. But I'm like, sweetheart, you're kind of a trust fund baby. So in reality, you're back on your good graces with Paulina. You don't technically actually have to work. I mean, that's what she was saying. She was like, why should I have to sit there and wake up at the crack of dawn every day and do this, that, and the third? Because, sweetheart, that's what you want to do. Remember, this was your dream, your vision. I can do it. I can do it. And, Paulina's like, oh, well, you say you're going to do something, then you don't do it. I can do it. I can do it. Now she's on some, yeah, I'm waking up at the crack of dawn. I'm like, sweetheart, you are just so, you see, honestly, tell you, it's like things like that. It makes it very difficult to fully like somebody. Yeah, she is a lot better than when she first came into town and try to stick to other people with a huge bill and just kind of just walk off. Like the POS that she is. Um, and her other stuff when she was doing with Eli and Lonnie, when she was staying over there. But now it's at a point where it's like I start to appreciate her a little bit more. I didn't fully like her, but I start to appreciate her a little bit more. But then hearing that, it was just like, you are just such trash. Like, straight up, you are such trash. And Aly, I didn't like her since day one. And to be honest, in a lot of ways, it just has not really gotten that better. So, yeah, they deserve each other. And with that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank everyone for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video.